Well, good morning. It's 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And like normally, we've been going a little bit later than normal, right? So it's, I don't know, what, 10:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, today's the last day of the kids' school, so it's been a busy, crazy little morning getting them out and getting them out the door and doing some stuff for people I support. Anyway, I want to talk about so I always have this battle a lot, and this is something that I want to share with you. One review or two, right? If I review my story or my work I did with the product owner, do I need to do, or stakeholder maybe, do I need to do a sprint review? And I'm going to say you should. And I want to share why, because I think most people, most Scrum Masters, most product owners, most BAs, most people in general miss the bigger picture. So I want to explain the bigger picture why. Hey, I think it's a great idea to do individual reviews with the product owner, stakeholder, and get their feedback during the sprint. There's nothing in the sprint guidebook that says you should, right? So I think it's a great idea. But I also think it's a great idea to do a sprint review, and I'm going to explain why, because there are 3 other stakeholder groups besides the product owner or the individual stakeholder that is getting the product that need to be shared with. So we're going to go with that today. So this is 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach, and here we talk about Scrum or Agile in a very practical and tactical way, so you bring more value to your customer, not work so hard to get that value out there, and have some fun along the way. So I always get this. Why do I need to share with the team or go to a sprint review if I've already shared what the product is or the final outcome or where we're at with the customer or stakeholder or product owner on a one-to-one discussion? So I already did one. Why do I need 2? Right? So it's 1 review or 2. 1 review either, and you can do it either way. 1 review as an individual one-on-one review with the product owner or somebody, or 1 review with this sprint review, or is it 2 reviews? I'm going to say it should be 2 reviews, right? If needed or if possible. And here's why. I'm going to go through it first off. First off, I think it's important to get that individual review as you build. You don't want to spend a whole sprint building all this stuff and have no feedback loops whatsoever on the product you're delivering. If you do that, you are giving yourself risk and potential failure modes, right? So you're better off during the sprint getting some feedback from the product owner, the stakeholder, customer, whatever, who is accepting the work. It's a good thing. Now, why the second review? Here's the argument. I always get this argument. Why do I do a sprint review if I already reviewed it with the customer or product owner? And I've gotten this for years. It's always been a debate. So I want to add there's 3 other stakeholder groups that you're missing out during this process, and they all have reasons why they're important. And I kind of mentioned all of them throughout all my 1,100 programs. Oh, by the way, I'm almost at 30,000 downloads for the podcast. So if I just need like 300 more, if you want to tell your friends, go ahead and download the podcast. And we're up there to 300. Oh, I gotta mute this thing. So it's something. So actually, that's probably a notice. Yeah, it's a notice that if you follow me, that was Facebook. If you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, you should be getting notices that we just went live. Anyway, so on that second review, what are those 3 stakeholder groups that I'm talking about? Well, one is the customer stakeholder group or other product owners, people that have a vested interest in your team and what you're doing and where you're going. Now, the second group is your manager, is the managerial stakeholder group on your team. And the third is the team itself. They are really stakeholders in what is being delivered and should be included. I'm going to talk about each one of those groups a little bit separately here, but those 3 groups are supposed to be at your sprint review and should be watching what's going on. 1, customer stakeholders, right? Multiple stakeholders. So more than just your product owner is a stakeholder in what you do. So couple things on this. Why do I say you should invite the stakeholders? Why do I say if you can invite some customers that are well as your product owner, they could represent a couple of reasons. One, cover your tail, right? There are product owners out there, and I'm not, I've seen them over time that are scared to death to tell their stakeholders that something's not to what they are and just go with it and float, or they're scared to death of the team to give them feedback that the product's not that good, right? So there's a little fear factor in that product owner, a little selfishness maybe too. Maybe they want to be the go-between so they preserve their job, right? You want the stakeholders that are customers or multiple besides this product owner come to the sprint review, because that way the team gets feedback and real feedback on the product. Also, so that's like that product for the team. That's greed for the team. The other thing is greed for the other stakeholders is something you develop for one product or one business area or one customer might be useful for other business areas. And until the other stakeholders see what you're building, they have no idea that you have the capability of building that, right? So you're missing out on that potential work, that 2-for-1 we always do, the 10x, where you did something for one customer, one business area, one application, whatever it was. And these other stakeholders go, I didn't know you could do that. I would love to have that for my customer base. So if you don't present to them, how are they going to see it? They're not, right? So that's one of the areas. So that's that stakeholder group of people, not just the product owner. So this is one of the people, the three that are missing if you do that one-on-one with just the product owner, is all the other stakeholders, all the other best interests, the ones that use your team to do stuff. They want to know where you're going, how you're doing, and keep an eye on that. If they don't, they're doing themselves and their business a disservice, to be honest with you. I'll tell you that right now. Anytime there's a demo, every business person on the planet should go to the demo, right? Because it's quick, easy, you learn a lot. Second group, managerial. If you are, and I covered this before, if you're depending on your boss to be the only one to tote your skills, or your scrum master to tote your skills to other people in the organization up who give your promotions, you are doing yourself a disservice, right? So you want to invite your manager, even the manager above, to come to your sprint reviews. Why? Because it's the one chance you can shine on how well you do product. They're so busy, right, that they don't necessarily have time to see what you built, coded, or developed for the customer. They're doing all the paperwork, all the admin stuff, trying to get the funding, get everything in there, presenting that. They may not get the chance to see what you developed. This is the one time at the sprint review where they can sit there and watch it. And a lot of times I've seen a lot of places, it ain't just the immediate manager that attends these sprint reviews. It's the manager above that person. So why would you give up on that one opportunity to show how much value you produce for the company? And you all worry about getting laid off and this, and I hear all these tech things. So when was the last time you did a demo? Hi, Bubbles. Bubbles is here. When was the last time you did a demo for that next level manager, right? So that's the second stakeholder group that should be at your sprint review, and why you do more than just an individual review per story with your product owner, right? There's Bubble's tail there. Bubble tail, right? The third group is your team. So many people think, well, why does the team need to know? Because I did that work. They don't really need to know all this stuff. They do. And when you are shortchanging your team on them seeing what was built, in the long run, you're doing yourself and your team and your company and everyone else a disservice. Why do I say that? Because sooner or later, the rest of the team is going to have to work on your stupid code. They all do. They ever do. And you're not going to be there, and you're going to want to take vacation. But if they didn't see how you built it or how it operates, even if it's just for 5 seconds, they're not going to have an idea or reference point to what you did, right? And it's going to take them forever to build it. It's going to slow the team down, and it's going to take longer. It's a great cheap way of getting that T shape or that pie shape that they're talking about with the team, right? But maybe you just do data, right? Maybe you just do database, but someone else presenting some front end stuff. And I don't care. I just do database. You need to know how your data is being used on the front end. You need to see how the outcome is. In order to develop a good product for your customer, you should understand the whole pie, the whole slice of the pie, and how it works, right? And also, like I said, sooner or later, there's going to be a bug. Sooner or later, somebody else besides yourself will probably have to work it, or it's going to sit for a while and you're just going to piss off the customer. You're going to piss off the stakeholder, and they're not going to want to do business with you anymore. So does it really make sense not to include your other teammates in a review, a sprint review, to see, even though you did a single item and the product owner already said it's good, and I hear this all the time, and I go, you are so shortchanging yourself and your whole organization, because I already did the demo for a product owner or a stakeholder. And I've seen this in multiple companies. I'm not saying this is anything new. I'm saying this happens all the time. And I try to go explain to them the value of doing this sprint review. Actually, I'm writing up a little article on it. You need to share it with your team. In the long run, it's going to make your life easier. They may not touch it. I'm going to tell you right now, they may not touch it for a year, but next year or sometime between now and a year from now, they're probably going to end up working on it, right? Or somebody needs them to understand how it works, why it does what it does, and all that stuff, and see what the customer's looking for. Because they may not be also, here's another thing, they may not be working on your code, but they may be working on something else that same customer wants. And by them having the feedback from the customer on that item will help them build a better product. It may be an improved product. Hi, Bubbles. Stop moving the camera. And they'll get that. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you today. So do you do one review or two? If I already did, is it like one lump or two lumps, right? And then your tea or coffee. I say two lumps, though I don't drink sugar in my coffee. If you do the one-on-one review, you're shortchanging yourself. You're missing three other stakeholder groups. You're missing other customers, other product owners, stakeholder group. You're missing your managerial stakeholder group, which controls your power, your purse, gives you promotions and gets you raises and gets you bonuses. So I don't know why people don't do it. And then they wonder why they get laid off, because no one else saw their work and they don't know what they do. And if you're not seeing, you're gone, right? And then the last one is your teammates, because you're going to have to build a product for them, for that same product owner at the same time. It's good to see the feedback from those product owners for other related products and stuff that you're going to build. Plus, they're probably going to have to fix a bug sooner or later, and they're really going to need to know or work in that area that you just created, and they really should know how it operates. So I wanted to share that to give a bigger picture on the sprint review process, and the fact that the Scrum Guide does not limit. It suggests and says you should have a sprint review, and I think you should, because I think those other three stakeholder groups are important. The other stakeholders, the other product owners, right? The other business people, the managerial stakeholders, and your team stakeholders get value, even though they may not see it, of the sprint review. Everyone likes a sprint review, by the way. The only ones that don't like to do it are the ones that are scared to death about doing it. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you today because I really want you to understand. Today is our 4R Thursday, where we just talk about requirements, reviews, and retrospectives, and roles, right? Roles is the new one. So now it's 4R Thursday. But I wanted to share that with you because I see so many teams hesitant about doing that. So anyway, have a great day. I wish you the best. Happy Scrumming. Next week, we're doing our meetup group. Don't forget to sign up for that. I'll put some stuff out for that. Rob Jackson's going to share his tools he uses as a product owner for what he does. And he sent me an email the other day of like a million tools. I'm like, oh God, how am I going to get this done in a meetup group? I don't know. We'll see. But he's going to share all these tools he uses for his product management work, his health, his career, getting degree, all those kind of things, and the different tools he uses to help him achieve all those goals. With that, I want to wish you the best. Happy scrumming. Bubbles says goodbye, right, Bubbles? Take care. Have a great day, and see you tomorrow. Bye.